Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about applying type, and what I'm going to do to help you understand this is I'm just going to take this layout that I created and have been previewed in a previous screencast, if you remember. So I'm just going to use this as an example in teaching you how to apply type using Illustrator. So let's just go on learning about that. So as we can see, we have some kind of font issues going on. Um, Again, I'm starting to just see some layout type of issues, just a little bit. It looks a little, looking at it now, it still looks just a little squished, and I'm gonna just go over making it more open, how I want it. So let's first start out with the layout. And now before, I have these borders right up here, but I kind of over time I've kind of noticed that it's it's it seems still a little too squished. I mean, here's one I had before, which was really squished, but for me, I guess I'm still feeling a little crowded. So what I've decided to do after contemplating about this, what I've decided to do was make our main background color kind of this color right over here. And I'm just going to bring up my color. Let me get my color right over here, my swatches. So here's my swatches right over here. And I'm just going to make this background color this color right here, and I believe it's that color. Yes, so there it is. And I've kind of also decided to bring this bar down. You know, I believe that two of these here, I have a kind of border bleed bar right up here, but I just think two of them is kind of unnecessary. So I'm just gonna make sure this is aligned to the top. And I'm gonna drag this down, and I'm gonna stop. Let's see how that looks. Okay, that looks okay, but I still want to see this layout going, this kind of shadow, not really shadow, but tint almost. So let me get my layers into my layers, and let me bring this up just real quick. Just gonna bring my layers out, and right here, it says it's right here. So I'm going to bring this right under layout, so I know it's there. And this, okay, so it did do it. Alright, great. So this I'm going to go like right under. So, maybe just a little more over. Oh, no, a little under. There we go. So, I kind of like this effect better. Now these, I'm just going to get rid of these. There we go. Delete. So I kind of like this better than the previous one. It seems a little more open. I brought this down to kind of give more hierarchy to the tabs. So, but you can still see the proportions of the page titles are still pretty out of proportion. So we'll fix that. So yeah. So you know, let's just go ahead and fix that first. Like I've said in previous videos, it's never too late to change your design. You just really want to make sure that you have the time and the ability to do that. So I'm just going to drag this right over here. Now I'm holding shift so it doesn't when I click and drag, I'm holding shift so it doesn't shift any other places. It keeps it in a straight line. And then I'm just going to highlight both of these. And then I'm going to go to my align options. And I'm going to select this option. It's distribute spacing, and it's going to distribute horizontally. So just so there's evenly spaced right in there. So that's exactly what I need. I'm just going to move this over just a little bit. Okay. Let me move it back. Okay, that's good. Alright, so now that we've kind of changed our layout, let's talk about our fonts now. And our fonts are really important. And how we determine our fonts is really how our page looks. And if you notice this page setup, I've kind of got some rounded corners going on. I really like the rounded corners on this type of website. So what I've decided to do is try to find a font for the page titles that kind of match the theme going on, kind of rounded. So it fits in. It fits in with the rest of the design. So in order, before we've talked about some web fonts and web safe fonts. So let's go to Google Web Fonts and let's look for some fonts in there. I don't want so much of an Arial rounded, kind of close to an Arial rounded, but not so bold and childish. I want it to be kind of modernist and legible for this design. So let's go to that website. Now here's Google Web Fonts that was mentioned in a previous screencast, and it's a really neat website. So I'm just gonna go and search for a font. Now I know that I don't want it to be serif, and I don't want it to be display or handwriting. I just want it to be a simple modernist sans serif font, and I want it to be kind of rounded. So I have been here previously just to make this screencast flow a little more quickly and successfully. Now if you look at here, what I'm talking about is it's just a little rounded. The edges aren't so sharp almost, they're just a little rounded almost, like on the R and the E. And so, but that's not the one I chose, but that's just an example. Now the one that I chose, let me do just a quick search for it. Oh, it's not in here. Okay. 1 minute. I'm going to search in here. Varela. Here it is. It's a Varela round. And so there's a Varela round. And I want this font. It's kind of like an Arial rounded, but you notice that the X height is quite larger, and the spacing inside, the counter spacing is quite larger, which makes it very, very nice for my design. So I'm going to just add this to my collection, and if you notice, it's right there. And I'm going to, now I've already pre-downloaded it, but if you would want to download that font, again, you would just go download your collection, download the font. So I'm going to use Varela Round for my page titles. Well, let's just see what that looks like. So I'm just going to highlight or select all that, Varela Round. Now I really like this font. You can see the X height and the width of the text is very, very clear, very easy to read, and it goes on with the rounded kind of corners. So that's what I really like. Now I'm just gonna make them just a tad bigger. I'm gonna go 26. There we go. That's better. Just make them a tad bigger. I'm just gonna center this one, just so you can imagine the example. move this over a little bit. Alright, there we go. So let me zoom in here. So this is a Varela round, and I really think it goes great with the layout. It's pretty simple, very educational looking, and pretty modernist, but um, it's just a happy font. It's just a happy type of font. And for the body, for the topic headers, I decided to make those also Varela round. But I don't want it to be screaming so much, just like the page titles. I want it to be kind of subtle. So I'm gonna make this about 21 point, and I'm gonna give it some. Um, let's see. I'm gonna give it some spacing, and I'm gonna go 100. And that looks a lot better. Very subtle, kind of makes you drive up there a little bit more. So that's what we want. So let's bring that up a little bit. Now, what about our body text? Our body text is in Helvetica at the moment, and I feel like it's a little too straight, a little too it's a little too screamy for this design. It's not going so well with the rounded theme. So I'm gonna try Georgia. I'm gonna try serif font and see what that looks like. Now, I mean, that's okay. The Georgia is okay. I feel like it's still a little too different than what we're searching for this specific design. So what I chose to go best with this is, let me show you, is it's a font called Muley or Muley. I'll just call it Muley. And it's this font right up here. And why I chose that font is because it's a web font. It can be streamed through the internet. I was actually aiming for a Century almost type font for this, but I think it's kind of too thin. We're just reaching for bold and some big counter spacing in the letters, and so I decided to use Muley. So let me show you what that looks like. So here's Muley. It's actually pretty cool, and it goes with the whole theme too. You know, I'm gonna put this in a text box because I know it's not in a text box. Let me just do that real quick. And here's our text box. And there's our text. Okay, there we go. So there's our text. And we don't want any orphans going on. Alright, so there we go. So there's our text, and I chose Muley for the body text because if you look closely, it's not so rounded, but you notice the counter spacing is very large, very evenly spaced. So that's one, and the X height is quite larger than a Helvetica, that's why I chose for the main body text. Now, if you just go on to the next video, we're just going to finish up talking about applying type.